Hey there, I hope you're doing great. I am Manon from Squeaky Loops and welcome back to my channel where we'd like anything related to crochet or knitting. If that sounds good to you, let's get cozy. Today is December 24th and it is the morning. I have decided to film a last video for the year of 2025 before getting all of my kitchen ready to prepare some stuff for the meal we're gonna have tomorrow with my mom. As it is the last video of 2025, I wanted something to kind of wrap up the year, and it is just gonna be me talking about everything I've made in 2025. I have a little spreadsheet on my computer that is just behind you guys, and I will walk you through everything I've made this year. Some of the items I still have them with me, some of them I don't. So if I do not have the item with me, or like for example wearables, if I show them to you, it's meh compared to if I show you a picture of actually me wearing it, and so you can have a better idea of how it actually looks when it's worn. Also, a quick shout out to my friend Rita, who gifted me this little mic for Christmas. I am very happy to try it out today. So hopefully the quality of the sound and the video will be better, and hopefully we won't hear as much of the camera focusing. As a quick disclaimer before we start, I am counting everything I finished in 2025. So if I started in 2024 and finished in 2025, it counts. But if I started in 2025 and it is not finished at the moment of filming this video, which is December 24th at 10 a.m., it is not in the list. So I still have a lot of Christmas presents that are due before my mom leaves, because basically she lives where everybody else in my family lives. So I'm making all the Christmas gifts and then she takes them back with her and gifts them to everybody on my behalf. So I still have until January 7th to finish all the gifts I want to make for my family. So they won't count in this video. Also, quick note, I will go through them chronologically. Honestly, just to find them again, I've been through my camera roll on my phone and I just took the pictures in the order that they came in. So I'm gonna start with what I made at the beginning of the year until the end of the year. So it's gonna be from the oldest to the newest make, if that makes any sense. So the first item that I made this year is a fade top by Spirit and Thread Crochet. I started it in January and finished it in February. At the beginning, I wanted to make the sleeves that are also coming with the top pattern. Unfortunately, I think that I do really have long arms and I made the sleeves, I think the first one only, and I realized that it would never stay on my arm, because there are two options. Either you wrap it around your neck kind of, or you just have it lay here. And I chose this option, so maybe if I had chosen the other option, it would have worked, but it would keep falling off of my arm. So I decided to unravel them and just use the top. I think it is super cute. I, however, live in Denmark and it is never that hot. So I mainly wore it when I was in France to see my family. I just love it. I am obsessed with it. I will definitely make more items from this creator. It's, I think, no, it's not my first wearable, because I also made two hexagon cardigan for my mom and one of my friends for the previous Christmas. But yeah, I really love it. I would definitely recommend it. One of the tricky part for me, and you will see that because I will mention this top again in the video today, but there was one tricky part, so I will keep it for when we get back to this pattern a bit later in this video. The second project I made, well, I finished because I started it last year in December, and as for every year since I've been crafting, I decided that starting in December was enough to make a full blanket for my boyfriend. I'm not sure yet, but I will insert a picture here, which is not the best picture. It's literally just the blanket on my bed, but I also have it behind me, so I will try to show it to you. We'll get back to that in a second. But so yeah, it was for my partner's Christmas present last year. I started it in December 2024 and I finished it technically on time, but I still needed to sew the turtles on the blanket. So this blanket, by the way, is called the Baby Sea Turtle Blanket Throw, and there are 3 sizes of it. So there's the throw, which is the one I made, which is the bigger one. There's the blanket one, I think, and then there's the lovey one, which is a very teeny tiny one, just for babies to cuddle, which is super adorable as well. The pattern is from Made by Mandy, and it is a free pattern on her website. Forgot to mention that, but all the patterns that I'm mentioning are of course linked in the description below if you are interested in making any of them. Now I will try to show you the actual blanket. Don't mind me, I'm in my sweatpants. I have no idea if it will show, but so it's kind of, oh shit, it's kind of a big one. Yeah. Yay. So that is the blanket I made for him. It was one of my very, very first projects. So it is, of course, not perfect. I, however, am very happy with it because it's my only blanket so far. And he was really happy with his present. So that was a win. The next pattern is Jasky the Banana Cat by Fruity Plushies, and it was my first pattern test. I actually have the plushie with me. I don't know, it makes me feel nostalgic because there are so many things that are not, like, they're not well done about this little guy, but I am just so happy that I made it because it's like my first pattern test, and I feel like to this day it's still one of my favorite makes. There were so many things that I didn't know how to do, like to hide the tails, for example. I didn't know you could just hide them inside and then, well, pull them on like somewhere else and tie a knot and just hide it back inside. So there are small bits and pieces where you can see me trying to weave in the end on the surface of the plushie. Also, I think it was my first time surface crocheting a little bit for the trim of the hat. Oh, see, that's what I was mentioning. I don't know if you can see here, but these are my attempt of trying to hide the ear color, but it's still like in there. I kind of sewed the head a bit crooked, so as you can see, but you know, for the pictures I managed to make it look straight a little bit. And I just love it. I decided to go for green because who said that a banana has to be yellow? Because it has to be, you know, green before becoming yellow. And it really gives, I mean, not really, but to me it really gives like Teemo inspired by League of Legends. It's like a little, I mean, he's not a cat, but yeah, if you see, you see, okay? So this was my first pattern test. I'm so obsessed with him still, and my partner doesn't want me to give it to someone or something, so he's still on our shelf, and I don't think he's going anywhere. So yeah, I'm very happy with this one. Also, I might be hitting my mic a little bit. I still need to adjust, so sorry if that happens. The next make I worked on is actually my first knitting project ever. It is a fail, but it's okay. It is the Easy Beanie by the Knit Mix, which I made for my partner. He chose the colors, so it was a very dark blue and a very like royal blue, I guess, that I held double. So I had one strand of the brighter blue and one strand of the dark blue. However, I was still kind of new to gauge and stuff, and it is a bit, I mean, we cannot really see it on screen, but it's a bit holy. So yeah, and the top, like, I mean, the top you have to be able to see, right? There's like a, yeah, you can see my fingers. So yeah, basically, I don't know what happened. I didn't know how to close it. And it was all very confusing to me because it was my first project. So it's never been worn, but you know what? It's where I started, and I'm gonna keep it just like I kept my first amigurumi. I started it in March and finished it, I think, in April. I have never made any beanies, crocheted or not. So yeah, my first knitting project and my first beanie. The next one is a snoozing goose in cotton yarn that I made for my partner again. I really like to make things for him. On the pattern, it comes with a color pattern for if you want to make a mallard, and my partner really likes ducks. So here is my little teeny tiny snoozing goose, which is made out of cotton yarn, and it is super small because of, I mean, cotton yarn. This pattern is a free pattern on Instagram, and it's by Crochet, Daria Handmade, and Cone Crochet. And it's basically just a little goose that is like laying down and sleeping. I mean, for me, it's a mallard. I really enjoyed it. It's not a very long pattern to make, and I think it is no-sew. The next two patterns are by the same designer, and it is by Lost Needle Crochet. And the first one is a Henry the Frog. Super cute with his little sunflower on top, and I love it. I showed him to one of my colleagues and he loves it too. So at some point, if I have some time, I will have to make one for him as well. Maybe in chenille yarn, maybe in cotton, I'm not sure. It is my first time, I think, using bubble stitches for anything, I think. Yeah, I think it was my first time using bubble stitches, so for the feet. Yeah, I mean, a few things are off, like my tension is not really even across the whole piece. We can see a bit of stuffing showing sometimes, but I mean, I love him. This is another one that my boyfriend doesn't want to get rid of, if I can say so. He just, loves it, so we're keeping him. Oh, I forgot to mention that this is a free pattern on Instagram, once again by Lost Needle Crochet. And onto another pattern of hers. I was chosen to pattern test one of her patterns, which is a paid pattern this time. I have linked her Etsy in the description, but the shop is currently taking a break, so it is not available for purchase. But if you're ever interested, you can just save it for later. The pattern is called Blossom the Spring Sprite. And so what happened is I wanted to make one in chenille yarn. I did know the color right away that I wanted to use. However, I ran out of the main color. I had to order some from Hobbii because it was a Hobbii toucan that I was using, and my Hobbii carries both Honey Bunny and Baby Snuggle, but no toucan. So since then I've learned to hate toucan, so I'm not ordering toucan at all anymore. So that's that. I ordered more toucan and it did not arrive on time, so I had to improvise and make a smaller, another blossom. So this was the official one that I submitted the pictures for the pattern test. It is in Boheme Velvet Double. She's super cute. I know she's one of my coworkers' favorite as well, and I love her. I wish that in Europe we would have some good brands of skinny chenille, because we have a few, but we cannot, like, for example, use brand A and brand B in the same project, because it's not the same thickness, and so it's not consistent from one brand to another, and it's a bit annoying because I do not like the sheen, like the velvety finish. I would rather have a matte finish, but the pros of velvet yarn. It is super smooth on the hands. So this was my first blossom, and I ended up receiving the yarn I ordered and finishing the second blossom, which is a kind of mint and chocolatey girly. And she is way bigger than her small sister, so as a size comparison, this is how she's almost twice. Nah. Yeah, so the head of the smaller one is like at the neck of the bigger one. I do love them, both of them. I don't know if I would say equally. I think both of them have their upsides and downside. I think I did not stuff this one well enough on the head, for example, whereas this one I think has the perfect amount of stuffing. But I do really like the color of this one and the size of this one as well. Also, it was my first time, I think, using specialty eyes, and I mean, I just love how it looks like, you know, flat compared to these eyes, which are more like, you know, 3D. I wish they could make sinker eyes, but just like plain regular like black sinker eyes, so then it could be flat on the surface as well. But yeah, so it was my first time using specialty sinker eyes, and these ones were hand painted by Nora's Crochet Corner. I vividly encourage you to get your eyes from her if you're anywhere in Europe or specifically in Denmark. I really love them. The shipping is quite fast, and also now she makes some 3D printed stitch markers. I know that as of right now she has some avocados out, and she was asking over on her Instagram which theme we would like to see next. So I'm really hoping it's animals that we get next, because I would really like to have some cute animal stitch markers. I know I do have some fox needle stoppers from when I knit, but not any stitch markers. So that was it for the 2 blossoms. Yeah, I just love them. Aren't they so cute? It's a lot of sewing involved, by the way. I didn't mention that, but everything is sewed on, basically, if I remember correctly. It has been a while, but I think if I remember correctly, everything is sewed on. Next pattern is another pattern test for Louise Crochet this time, and it is for her little Woolly the Sheep, which is a no-sew pattern. I absolutely love him. He is super fast to make. I think it took me approximately like, oh no, I don't remember, but less than an hour for sure. And he is super duper cute. It is another one of the ones that my partner doesn't want us to give away to someone, so we're keeping this cute lad. And yeah, it's super easy to make. The only tricky part, if I remember correctly, is that the ears have to be crocheted in, and I don't know what I messed up with it, but I struggled so much. I also have sometimes this issue, quote unquote, that I'm left-handed, and so when I crochet in the opposite direction of what a right-handed crocheter would crochet. So sometimes when the instructions are side oriented, like when they say, oh, the right ear should go like this or the left ear should go like this, sometimes it's a bit complicated and confusing to me. But yeah, it's a me problem, not a pattern problem. Next one is a wearable. It is my houndstooth crochet vests, and the pattern is from Off the Hook. I started it in March and finished it in May. I really love it. I have nothing to say about it except that I was just so tired of weaving in ends at the end that I think I just tied knots for the first time in my life, because I was just done with it. You have to change your color every row, but it was for myself, so I didn't want to I don't want to fuss too much about it. The next, it's actually 2 projects in one. I didn't take a picture of them, so my friend who I sent them to sent a picture to me with both of them at the same time. So in May, it was one of my best friend's birthday, and I gifted her a Daisy Granny Square bag with 4 little cat swirl coasters. The bag is called Summer Days Daisy Bag by All About Ami, and the cat swirl coasters is a pattern by Ati van Norel, and both are free patterns on their website, and I think you can, for both of them, buy the pattern if you want a PDF or a ad-free version. I really enjoyed them. I remember having a hard time making my first granny square bag, which was the sunburst one, because it was like one more color change, so it was like more ends to weave in. It was also, back at the time, my second project like ever, so I had a bit more of a hard time to weave in tails, and this one, honestly, I just went through it. It was so easy. I loved making it. And yeah, I was super happy with it. Same thing with the coasters. Next pattern is another pattern tests, and it is Talia, the Sunflower Fairy Axolotl. Oh, there's some fluff. So first off, how big? She is huge. Second, the little details on the paw to have like the little fingers or like the little toes on the feet. Yes, and can we talk about the sunflower itself? Like what's replacing the frills, basically. I just love her. Don't remember much about it. I think it was a lot of sewing involved, that I know. I love her. I think I would add a little bit more stability to the head if I had to remake it. But yeah, she's just so pretty. My favorite part about it, I'm a huge sunflower fan. I have one tattooed on my arm. But this part is really like, it's mind-blowing. I love it. Like the texture it gives is incredible as well. So another use of Nora's eyes. I wasn't sure about the color to use. I know there was a lighter green, and I decided to go for the darker ones. The lighter green, by the way, I wanted to use them for another pattern that I will show you later, which is another axolotl, but I ended up misplacing them. So yeah, and I couldn't take them off. I tried everything, didn't work. So I just threw them away. I'm sorry, Nora. But yeah, that's what happened. Oh, another pattern test for the next pattern, and it is a Poro, and it's Cookie by Sisu Crochet. Can we talk about him? So it was my first time using fluffy yarn. I think it went well because it's basically just a bowl. Like it's literally a sphere. And then you just make the paws and you just sew them on, basically. He's absolutely adorable. It was also my first time using felt for the eyes. I think I should trim his fur a little bit around it. But super duper cute. The mustache is also fluffy yarn. I really enjoyed using it. The result is so good. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to say. It was a really easy pattern to work on. It just took me a bit of time to get used to the fluffy yarn, knowing also that my fluffy yarn that I used for this one is Hobie Peacock, and it is super thick. So I think that my hook size was a bit too small for it, and I had such a hard time. I think the sewing, yes, okay, so the white of the eye, I glued it to the black, and then the black, I sewed it to the plushie and the fluff. I think it's okay. I mean, I could have done a better job, but it was also my first time. Also, the cookie, it looks like a little Poro snacks. I would definitely recommend the pattern. All my League of Legends friends are obsessed with him. Ooh, okay. This next one is a labor of love. I think I approximated it to over 60 hours on this project in a month. So I started it in May, finished it in June. I think it was like a month and a half because it was at the end of June that it needed to be ready, because we were invited to a birthday party and the theme was flowers. So at first I was like, I will just crochet myself like a little like granny square with like sunflower on it and just like make it like two big granny squares for like one in the front and one in the back. And then I was like, nah, you know what? I will just make a whole top made of puff flower stitch. So here's the final result. I wouldn't have it any differently. I am obsessed with it. I need to, maybe if I am brave enough this year, because it was a kind of corset situation at the back, but this year if I feel confident enough, I will try to sew a zipper, or I will see maybe with my mom, because she's a seamstress, to see what we could do with it. The other thing I need to change about it, and that's why it's still in my work in progress pile, is that, of course, I mean, cotton is not a stretchy material, but it kind of stretched a bit during the day, so my straps were a bit too long, and I ended up having to constantly like put it up, because otherwise it would have not have been appropriate anymore. I love him. I just love it. I think it's my favorite project of the year, even though it is not perfect. I spent so much time on it and they invested so much time on it. My hands were not happy with me anymore. And I mean, the outfit, like the complete outfit, which you can see here that I wore on that day, I mean, it was everything. I had my handmade top paired with some pants that my mom sewed for me, so it was just perfect, and it was just such an amazing fit. Honestly, I was so happy with it. Next pattern is another fade top, and that's when I will mention what the tricky part is. My problem came from the cups, because I don't know what I was thinking, but there's one side of the cup that says doesn't count as a stitch, and I still crocheted in it. So it's kind of, instead of making like a shape like this for the cups, it made a shape like this kind of. So it is very, very baggy on the sides, and I don't think my mom will ever wear it then. Kind of makes me sad, but I mean, if I have time this year, I will definitely make her another one accounting for the mistake I made last year. I really like this project in general. I think it's not a very long project to make, and yeah, my only issue is me not being able to actually make the pattern look okay. The next pattern was another pattern test. Let me get them. Yes, okay. And it was for Sweet Beans Crochet, which is one of my favorite content creator on YouTube, and I was so happy to be chosen to test her little belly babies. That is the name of the pattern. In the pattern there are four possibilities. So there's the cat, the bunny, the mouse, and the bear, and I applied to test the mouse and the bunny, which is what I got. If you know me, I do love rats, and because of that, I also extended it to all like little rodents. I will always want to try a mouse pattern if I see a mouse pattern. I started with the bunny pattern. So Sweet Bean wrote the pattern, I mean, I guess mainly for Chanel yarn users, but I do really love working with cotton. Look how cute. Doesn't he give a little bit of Sylvanian family thingy? I mean, I love him. He is so small. And yeah, I'm so happy I ended up working with cotton on this one. I think the arms and the ears are both sewed in, but I'm not sure anymore. I have never made characters where I needed to add some little eyebrows and stuff, so I kind of felt insecure about it. But overall, the second one I made was then a little mouse, which is super duper cute, but I made a mistake. So the pattern came as either just plain, no clothing, let's say belly babies, or if you wanted, there is a little mod for a overall or a dress. I wanted to make the mouse with a yellow dress. However, in the pattern it says work in back loops only, and I did work in front loops only. So I could not attach the frilly part of the dress. Also, I mean, we can see it a little bit with this one, maybe? Nah. I feel like the downside of using cotton yarn for this project specifically is that they're supposed to have a big belly-ish, and I mean, we can kind of see it, but it's not obvious. And then after that, I was like, ooh, I would really love to make a teeny tiny mouse. And I made the same mistake for both, basically. But look at this teeny tiny baby. So I'm not gonna lie, when I made her for the first time, I was like, oh, this is a mistake, because she is not very symmetrical. Like on the little hips, you can see that she's not very symmetrical. I think I made one of her leg one row longer than the other one, so she was not perfect at all, and I decided not to include it in my pictures for the pattern test, but she's adorable. Her eyes and her little mouth and nose is basically some embroidery thread, because anything else was too thick for it. I think it's my favorite one for the face details that I made. I think I still have issues making the eyebrows looking not angry. I mean, I still need to work on that. And then the final one, which is the one I submitted for real, is this little mouse in a dark brown tutu. I mean, it's a dress, but it really looks like a tutu. I love it. And she's super cute. I had a little bit of issue placing the tail. Isn't she adorable? So these were my belly babies. Also for these three, I used cotton 8/8. I think it was a mix of Hobie and Drops Paris. For these two, I used a 3.5 millimeter hook, if I recall correctly. And I thought it was a bit see-through at some point, so for this one I used a 3 millimeters hook only. And for this one, it was cotton 8/4 and a 2 millimeter hook. Next project was another pattern test for Coty Loops, which is, as a surprise for no one of my favorite pattern designer out there. And she re-updated a previous pattern that she had, that it was an anemone burst, but she made it with an improved version and some add-ons for different kinds of fish or different kinds of anemone that you can make. Anemone, not sure how to pronounce that in English. This is the little pattern. It is the Anemone Burst Biodiversity Bundle, and the little fish pops out. Honestly, yes. I feel like Inez's patterns can be like scary when you look at them, because when you open the file for the first time, if you're not like used to one of her patterns, the document is long. Oh, it's long, but there are so many pictures, so many explanations on how to place stuff. There are like diagrams, there are like so many things and so many details. So this was the little one that I made, and it can stay like this, and then you can just decide to pop your little fish. I really appreciated testing for Inez. I think I had applied for her Tiny Reef pattern test, but she asked if I was interested in testing this updated version instead, and I was like very, very happy to test either, so I said yes. In the same vein, I also made a teeny tiny clownfish from Inez as well, and it's one of the different clownfish you can make for her Tiny Reef retreat. It was part of a marathon on Instagram or something. I'm not sure exactly. Was it like a crochet along? I think it was a crochet along. I'm not sure. For this one, I think I used the hook size that I would normally use for chenille yarn, which is a 5 millimeter. I decided to make this one a teeny tiny bit smaller, and I used a 4 millimeter hook, which is the size that Inez recommends. And I have to say, I really like it. It feels very firm. This one is also, yeah, I said I did not do the whole Tiny Reef retreat, but it is part of the Tiny Reef retreat, so I'm linking the pattern down, of course. The next tiny make I made was for a bake-a-thon this time, which was a little marathon organized by my crochet drawer, and I made her Ray Ray the rainbow cloud cookie. How cute. So technically it's supposed to be rainbow. I didn't have all the colors to make rainbow, and I am a brown girly, so I just decided to do a gradient of brown instead, and it is super cute. That's what it looks like on the sides and on the back. I had a little issue here, but yes, so that was my Ray Ray. It is part of a pack that is called the Moody Clouds crochet cookie pattern, and you have like one that has like tears because it's like a stormy cloud. You have one that has, I think, stars coming out of its cookie / eyes. But you have like a few of them. I think you have 5 or 4 of them inside. They're super cute. I feel like if I was to make markets, I would make a bunch of different cookies from my crochet drawer, make like little cookie bags, I guess, inside, or maybe like even a gacha machine, and just, yeah, people just claw out some little cookies. The next 2 makes I made were 2 Mabel chickens that you will see here for my partner's grandfather's 90th birthday. He loves chickens, so I decided to make 2 for him, a bigger one in white and a smaller one in black. The white one is made with Honey Bunny Big, and the other one, or Jumbo, I'm not sure, but like the big version of Honey Bunny, and the other one is made with the regular version of Honey Bunny. Nothing to say about it. I really like to make Mabel chickens. It's a quick make, looks super cute, so yeah, and he was really happy with it. Next project was a blank shirt by the Club Made. When I bought it, it was a different name, like it was a different company name. It was Unravel And, I think. It was made for my partner, and it was made for the flower event that we attended for the birthday, but I was not able to finish it before it was time. I finished it later. I started it in May, finished it in August, because after realizing I didn't have time, I was like, I have the time to make it later. I love it. My boyfriend chose the colors. I mean, blue suits him super well, so I feel like it was such a nice choice for the flowers. Basically, the whole concept of this shirt is you make the shirt and then you can just add whatever you want on it. So I decided to stick with the original flower design because we were supposed to attend a birthday party that was flower themed. I mean, it looks very nice, but I would say that I was really happy to be done with it because all the pattern is very similar throughout the whole shirt. So I was kind of like, am I done yet? But honestly, because of how it looks when it's done, I would make it again. I think I would. Next one is a pattern test, and it is another axolotl, this time a little snuggler. It kind of looks rough on the fluffy yarn portion, but it's because my boyfriend loves it so much that we have it in our bed and he sleeps with us, I guess. He named him Pinocchio because he says that he's super cute. So it was my second time working with fluffy yarn. Once again, it's a very thick yarn, so I don't think I would reuse this yarn particularly to make amigurumis again, maybe a smaller one. And this is the project where I wanted to use some light green eyes from Nora, but I misplaced them and it looked terrible and I was not able to fix it. So I painted my own eyes because I had bought a few things to make them, and it was nice for me to have done that because then I was able to paint some little dark blue eyes, and I think it came out super cute. This eye has been a bit damaged because of, I guess, the plushie being actually used. I mean, it's just a little scratch, but super happy with it. I really enjoy the size of it, like how big it turned out. I feel like it would be such a nice size to gift for a kid. So yeah, and he's one of my boyfriend's favorites, so I love her. The pattern is called Isla, the Axolotl Snuggler, and it is from Crochet by Liz. Next makes are another pattern tests from my friend Fiber Art, and it is some frog fairies. So I will show them to you in the order that I made them for the pattern tests. So here is the first one. It is a little frog with some Luna moth wings with some little lavender detail. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because it's quite small. It's made in cotton yarn. I turned it into a little keychain. Was I too lazy to hide the back? Yes. So I'm keeping it for myself and I will use it as a keychain for myself. I love it. I think it's my favorite of the 3. The second one is a little velvet one that I also turned into a keychain. This one I think was my favorite to make because of how easy the velvet yarn is on my hands compared to the cotton one, as well as how smooth it is to insert the safety eyes, because I hate it when it's like such small makes in cotton. I feel like the safety eyes are so hard to push in. So yeah, the second one, super cute. I like the lighter green for the body of the frog, and yeah, I mean, green and pink really goes well together, so I love it. The last one, which could have been eventually my favorite, but I didn't have safety eyes that were the correct size, and I feel like they're a bit too big. So this is my snow fairy. I mean, my snow frog fairy. I mean, she's cute, but I feel like her eyes are a bit too big. Also, this color is never picked on camera. Like, it looks very different than what it looks like when I look at it, but whatever. So yeah, the eyes a bit too big, but other than that, super cute. I would remake some of these for sure. So frog fairies. Next make, I will not show it to you on camera because it doesn't hold its shape and it's terrible. It's my Easy Polo Tee by Easy as Knit. I started it in April, finished it in August, I think. It is my first knitted top. Mistakes were made by choosing a top that I made in cotton. I wanted to reuse the yarn I had bought to make my fade top because I didn't use the leftover yarn for the sleeves, and it was, I think, 6 or 7 skeins of it. So I decided to reuse that yarn for the Easy Polo Tee. However, cotton is, as you may know, absolutely not stretchy, which makes it very difficult to know if your tension is right, which makes it even more difficult when it is my first big knitting project. But oh well, it doesn't look perfect. There are definitely some places where the tension is looser than other places, so it kind of shows, but you know what, it's fine. I made it through my first project and it is super cute. I decided to have the slit here longer than on the original pattern, but yeah, cotton doesn't hold its shape, so it's kind of floppy. I like it nonetheless. I will definitely wear it. I love wearing cotton stuff in the summer. First knitted top, I am okay, happy with it. I wouldn't make it again, I think. Yeah. Or maybe just like make the slit a bit smaller so it's not as floppy around the neck. But yeah, other than that, happy. I just need to practice my tension. I feel like it's one of the recurring problems. Next one is a little pumpkin goose by Go Crochet Studio on Etsy. I made it for my partner. He is a big fan of everything duck, goose, and everything. So I made it for him. It is not the same color for the feet and for the beak, because I realized that I ordered 2 skeins of yarn from Hobbii around this time. It was a baby snuggle yellow, I think, and the second one was another yellow, which is called curry, and unfortunately both of them were bleeding. Like, the color was like everywhere on my hand, on my hook. So once I realized that for this color, I decided not to use it, and I used a leftover toucan mustard that I had, but it was barely enough to finish the little beak. So that's how it looks like. Super cute. I mean, I have nothing to say. It's a bit dusty. I'm sorry. I still need to like put it inside a bin until it's full again. So yeah, little hat. I just added the cotton strand. It's like not attached or anything, so it's just here. Yeah, I think I could have used a bigger hook for the hat because I feel like it's a bit small. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I really love it. I love the end results. I mistakenly cut a bit of yarn when I was weaving the ends, so here I put a little bit of fabric glue. It doesn't show, I mean, except if you really look at it, and anyway, it's like on a desk, so it doesn't show, right? So yeah, a little pumpkin goose for my boyfriend, which, by the way, he immediately took to work and put on his desk, and everybody at his job is obsessed with it, so that's a win. The next 2 are a Charmander and a Bulbasaur snugglers from Pebbles Crochet, both of them. So I made the Charmander for one of my best friends. The eyes are also from Nora's Crochet Corner. I don't know why my makes are always smaller than what they're supposed to be. So I know I was using a smaller yarn than the creator, which is why I bought some smaller eyes too, and it still came out like so small. So whatever. It's now a mini Charmander snuggler. When she saw it, she sent a picture to her partner, and her partner was like, oh, can you imagine if we had a Bulbasaur to go with it? So I decided to make a Bulbasaur snuggler. I made the snuggler, but my friend painted herself the eyes, which are super cute. I feel like it's the perfect color for the little Bulbasaur. We added some details on the ears, and we also added a little flower on the bulb that is on its back. Yeah, both of these now are in Canada. Both of the recipients were happy about it, so that's cool. And then we had, if you have been watching my first few videos, you know about this pattern. I've been chosen again by Coachy Loops to test one of her pattern, which is Autumn the Perfect Cucurbita. I have these fives. I will put a picture here anyways, the picture that I posted on Instagram. Once again, I love them. Next year I am definitely going to make more for my friends and my family so they can decorate their houses for the fall season. Everything is perfect about this pattern, and like this one, there is no you have to have a cotton thread to make all the ridges on the pumpkin, because she uses like a special technique to make it. I would say that it's a bit yarn consuming because of the technique she uses, but it's amazing. I love it. I made it in, like, as you can see, like 5 different ones. I tried cotton, I tried velvet, I tried chenille. Everything is so cool. I love them. The next one, if you watched all my videos, you may know about, and it was in the same video actually than the pumpkins, is a vest number 23 by Daisy and Peace that I made for my middle school best friend. She received it like a few days ago now, because I sent it to my mom, and then because I had to send a few things to my mom in general, so I sent everything to my mom, and my friend picked up her stuff a few days ago. So it was a vest number 23 by Daisy and Peace, and she loved it. I'm so happy. I really liked making it as well. It was less nerve-wracking than the houndstooth vest because you go 2 rows before changing colors, so it's like it divided the number of ends to weave in by 2, which is very appreciated. Yeah, it was just super cute. If I had to make it for myself, I would maybe use the v-neck one, but I'm not sure. I really liked how it looked on me too with the round collar. But yeah, super cute. Loved it. And I also made her 2 rattles for her niece and nephew for Christmas, but I didn't take a picture of them. It was just 1 giraffe and 1 fox rattle. Speaking of things I don't have a picture of, I also made my mom's friend a bag, like an oval bag with like shell stitches. Yeah, that's it. I don't have a picture, I just made that. To finish on the, what I would call my fall era, we have this little Sleepy Fox by Nooks hooks that I showed you already in a video because it was made during a vlog. My boyfriend loved it. The only thing I would do differently is I would change the position of the head on the tail. Other than that, it's once again super small compared to the pictures. I think it's because I use yarn under, yarn over for amigurumi. I loved it so much, however, I love making this so much that I am going to order some Elise Softy Mega to try. And since it doesn't take much yarn, I think I can just order like 1 skein of white, 1 skein of black, and 1 skein of orange, and see how big it turns out with the mega size, which is comparable in size to Elise Veludo. This little fox, loved it. I will definitely make it again. Now on to Christmas era, and also the only Christmas pattern that I made. I don't have it with me, it's still at my partner's job, and it is a pattern test for Cinnamon the Christmas Tree Mouse, and it is by Autumn Fairy. I'm just obsessed with Autumn Fairy's pattern all the time anyways, but I am obsessed with everything rat and mouse related. So I was chosen as a pattern tester. I love the shape of Cinnamon's head so much, and I'm pretty sure from what I remember seeing on Autumn's Fairy's Instagram, I'm pretty sure that she is gonna release more costumes for Cinnamon. I know she made a Christmas pudding, I know she made a pumpkin, so I'm really excited to see if there's anything coming up for the other festivities during the year. And yeah, I just love her. I used some dark green from Yarn Art Dolce. However, it is very shiny and I don't think it goes super well on the picture I took. But yeah. And also I didn't have any smaller chenille yarn to put on the Christmas tree as bubbles or on the head for the star, so I used some worsted weight cotton. I loved it. I would make it again for sure. Only 3 patterns left to go. Only 3. Damn. To be honest with you, I wasn't sure how this video would turn out because I didn't realize how much I crocheted this year. I mean, it may not sound like a lot, but I do have a full-time job on the side. So, I mean, everything I do when I have free time is crochet. It's a bit less towards the end of the year because we received a lot of people at home, friends and family visiting, and also because I really wanted to make myself a knit Christmas top. However, I spent like so much time on it and then I realized that it was definitely not gonna work. So I'm slacking a bit on this project now, but I mean, I let everything else on hold until I was done with this project and yeah, realized it was not going to be possible. So now I need to pick back up my crochets and make knitting and crocheting live together a bit more. 3 patterns left, so we'll start with a grub by Crochet by LeChan that I made for my brother-in-law. Super cute. I love it. I have nothing else to say except that I will make myself one too. On her pattern, she says to use some felt for the eyes, but I have oval eyes, so I used these instead. I'm just obsessed, honestly. It took me less than an hour to make. The result is like super cute. You only have to sew in the snout. Honestly, I would definitely recommend making this one. Yeah, I think I also need to make now a Hollow Knight and Hornet to go with it and just put it on my desk. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. I just love it. I bought it the day it was released. So now on to the last 2 projects of the year, and we'll start with some new Mabel chickens. If you know what's happening behind the scenes, you know what's happening behind the scenes. So I have a few more to make, and I asked over on Instagram which color people would want to see, and the answers I've got were mainly a blue chicken from Stardew Valley or a void chicken from Stardew Valley. And then I also got a person who said that a white chicken would be nice. So what I think I'm gonna make is a bundle of Stardew chickens, and it's gonna be consisting of 1 brown, 1 white, 1 blue, and 1 void chicken. And I would sell it as a bundle and then also have them, of course, as individuals, because I mean, not everybody wants a Stardew related crochet chicken. So for the regular ones, I would make a brown, a white, and a gray, I think. I would not make a black because the eyes are just like embroidered on, so they would not be visible and I think it would be weird. Whereas for the void chicken actually has red eyes, so I think that's gonna work. I mean, I'm gonna have to test it out anyways. So yeah, 2 little Mabel chickens, and I need to make a few more. And finally, the last project I'm going to show you is a pair of sailor slippers. So they're not very well stretched right now. They came out of the washing machine yesterday evening and I love the color. I mean, honestly, super happy with the results. I do have to make sure that it stretches out correctly on the parts where it's a bit wrinkly. But it's a Christmas gift for my mom who's coming in tomorrow. And tomorrow is Christmas, so I finished it just on time. I've tried them on and they're super comfy. I don't think it's the kind of thing that you should wear without socks, except if you're not very sensitive to textures, because I am and I wouldn't like to wear them without socks. Loved it. I spent maybe, I know some people said it took them 5 hours. I would say for me it took maybe 10, just because of how new I am with knitting and how basically the I-cord edge was a new technique for me. I've never sewn some knitting as well, so it took me quite a long time. So I would say it was like between 8 to 10 hours. It was also my first pair, so now I know what to expect. I also made in the, I mean, you're not gonna see it, but it's like a little L in the left foot because it is pretty similar in shape, but the sole is shaped differently. But when you see it, you cannot really tell the difference, but when you wear them, you can. So I decided to put a little L on it so my mom could like see which one she's putting first, basically. So that is it, and that is the last project I've officially completed before December 24th of 2025. I do have other stuff on my needles as of right now, including a Mau Mau amigurumi from the Apothecary's Diary, as well as a pair of sailor slippers for my boyfriend. He is coming back from a trip on the 26th, so my goal is to finish the sailor slippers today or tomorrow morning before my mom gets here, and then I will wash them to felt them when he's here so he can shape them to his foot. That's what I did for my mom's slippers. We're almost the same size. She's an EU 40 and I'm an EU 41. So I basically just like wore the slippers for a little bit and walked with them a little bit so it would shape nicely to my feet. But we're very similar, so it's gonna work. However, I do not have the same foot size as my partner. So yeah, I think it's easier if we just let him wear them. Also, he was very, very curious to see the process of felting, so I think it's gonna be nice for him to see it. With that said, it is the end of today's video. I would be really interested to know which one of these projects was your favorite, or if you have a few of them, if you cannot narrow it down to one. I would have to say that for me, I think it is my flower puff top, because just of how much time I invested in it, how much effort it asked to like come up with, because it is my first self-drafted thing. It's not a lot, but for me it is pretty new. I really don't like to improvise stuff or just, I mean, I'm very much a recipe follower, so I really like following patterns, and you know, it's, I don't think I have this creativity or this capability to like come up with patterns and stuff. So for me, it was really, I feel like, yeah, I mean, it feels like a big accomplishment. So I think it would have to be this project for me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I would love to see you in the next one. On that note, I wish you a very good weekend. I hope you had a nice Christmas if you celebrate, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!